But you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in Judea and Samaria and to the end of the earth. Acts 1, verse 8. Last week at the Best Practices in Ministry conference in Phoenix, Arizona, I attended a workshop focused on habits of healthy churches. Last week in my Ponderings message, I talked about the need to deal with conflict in a biblical way. This week, I'd like to invite you to consider where your focus is when it comes to the church. One of the places where our focus might be is on ourselves. How am I doing in my relationship with Christ? In what ways am I being nurtured in my faith through the ministry of the church? What gifts do I have to share that could contribute to the work that we are doing as the family of God? All of these are appropriate questions. The second place our focus might shift is to others in the church. In what ways are we ministering to those who come through our doors? In what ways am I investing in the lives of those who are part of the church family by listening, encouraging, praying for, and serving? Are there needs that others have in the church that perhaps we as a church family could respond to? These are appropriate questions as well. Before we talk about a third focus, I want to invite you to consider our verse for today from Acts chapter 1. Jesus instructs his disciples that their focus will be close at hand as well as to the very ends of the earth. Perhaps that can serve as a template instructing us that our focus can start with even our own needs, but eventually needs to shift beyond ourselves and our church family. Jesus modeled this during his time here on earth. He took care of his own needs, like when he rose early in the morning and went to a lonely place and prayed. And sometimes his focus was on the needs of the disciples, but his focus was quite often on those even beyond his closest companions. He reached out to the woman at the well and turned their conversation toward spiritual issues. He sought out those who others might overlook, like Matthew and Zacchaeus. Our verse for today and the example of Jesus lead us into our final focus, and that is on those who are not yet part of the church. Are we praying for those who haven't yet come to faith? Are we inviting those who don't have a church home to come and see? Are we building relationships with non-Christians so that the light of Christ might shine through us and impact their lives for all eternity? Jesus' focus was so far away that he even prayed for us in the Garden of Gethsemane. May the Lord help us to focus on the needs of those closest to us as well as the needs of those throughout our community, as well as to the very ends of the earth. Press on in the Lord.